Hi traders, welcome to wrap up of Thursday, December 8th. So we finally had one of those pullback days, had a sell-off day. Like we've been saying all week, the market's been very much extended to the upside and pretty much approaching each day, letting the market tell us what it wants to do, and understanding that the buyers are definitely around, but at some stage you got to think the sellers are going to come in. So that's what happened. We had a sell-off in the pre-market. Been seeing a lot of action lately in the pre-market, almost to the stage where a lot happens due to announcements. Then we get to the open of the cash market, and we get very much sideways action to start off with. So we bounce between power points here. It was really quite bizarre, how tight the range was to start off with. And also remember, today was the first day of the new contracts when we roll over. So the fact that we got our contracts split basically between two domes, so that was basically this trading day and tonight as well. That just makes for a little bit of a quieter day, and quite often a lot of the big institutions tend not to trade so much on the rollover day, so therefore you can get a little bit less erratic a little bit more erratic movement and some less contracts on the dome. So it just makes for a little bit funny day. So just something to worth noting. Every time there is a rollover day, just expect the markets to be a little bit unusual. But come tonight, Friday trading, we should be getting back on track to a normal market. But anyway, as far as Thursday goes, we went sideways. We then started to push down. So here's one of these new grey PowerPoints that we're going to start hearing a lot more information about soon. David's going to come out with some more information on this one. But the fact that we're pretty much in a sideways range, as soon as it starts to break down, it's pretty much going to push down through this and push down for a bit, because it's gaining power, and one way or the other it's going to break, and it did break down. From there we had a bit of a pullback. So you can see this is pulled back. When you getting pullbacks like this, you've got to look for support areas. So you can see here it's pulled back to this congested area, and from there that grey turned the market around and sent it back down to this green. I thought this green had a really good chance of pushing down to the lows and even lower, because when you look at the 5-minute chart, everything's pointing down. The predictive's basically coming back up and starting to get some pressure back to the end side. So this is basically like the pullback of pressure, then all of a sudden it's releasing it all about here and pushing down and making lower lows. We continue to push down through the morning. We're approaching lunchtime now. Even though there's quite a bit of movement here, in some of these PowerPoint chances are chances, but it was kind of difficult to get on some of these. We didn't get any major pullbacks. Like I say, this pullback here, looking for maybe to pull back a little bit more and get a 5-minute sell. But in the end, there were some slim chances, but nothing that was really strong, I guess. For the morning session. So here we are, basically going through lunch here, and the market's pushing through sideways. At this particular area here, we got 5-minute signal just up before this green, and this one worked well. So we've got a pullback, bit of a classical kind of setup. Even though the market's extended, I'll bring it up and show you on the 5-minute chart. It was a pretty good area, because we basically pushed down, made a fresh, hit a fresh area, and got new sellers, got the pullback, and then there's a good chance this is going to push down and go down and look for the lows, and then it got to lows and went even further down to here. So this stage here, once again we started to go sideways. Now when we're starting to get a bit of a pullback, so we'll just fix the scale up here. So we're getting a pullback here, and you see it's come down here, then pull back again. So now this area here is starting to become a little bit stale. All of a sudden you can see the sellers are running out of steam and pushing sideways, and from there we got a bit of a push up. So at this stage here we've had quite a down sell. Looking for an opportunity to get on the upside. Maybe these were tough, and this first one's always a possibility, but it's always a risky one as well. But if it is going to break, it breaks well, as it did in this case. Quite often what I was looking for in this area here was maybe not push so much through, then get a bit more of a pullback down to maybe the 1237 area, and then get a reload as far as the predictives on the 5-minute charts go, and then push up from there. And it's a lot safer way to approach it, whereas the way this when it just kept pushing up through these points. Are very hard to get on it. Got up to the yellow, spun around, and then once again, right at the end of the day, pretty much finished trading by this stage. But maybe some sort of news came out, or maybe just the sellers just taking back control. Had a bit of a breather here, and then all these fresh sellers come charging back in the market and pushed down and made new lows for the day. So a very action-packed afternoon. Overall, even though there was a lot of movement, like I said earlier, a bit of a bizarre day. The fact that it just kept on pushing down, and this kind of day where you don't get a lot of two-sided action, it's a little bit more difficult to find the opportunities. But in saying that, there was still some small ones. Like here was this 5-minute setup that I was talking about earlier, so not a bad one. You can see the market's pushed down. It was looking for it earlier, actually, taking a step back. This one here, once again looking for a pullback, then get on the sell side. But by the time this sell came, we were already sitting down around the lows. So down through lunch, then we had another pullback, then the sell came. So what I was saying, this is still a good area because you can see we've pushed down, so we're breaking into a new area, then getting a fresh pullback. So this is all fresh sellers coming in. Whereas approaching it down here, trying to get a sell down around here, it's a lot less percentage or strike rate of getting it, because all of a sudden you can see this is a little bit of a stale area. It's had a couple of goes at the low. It's forming these bottoms. So therefore it's gaining some pressure to head back to the upside, which is what it eventually did. So that 5-minute signal, pretty good one for the day. That was pretty much the only opportunity as far as 5-minute goes, and then maybe as far as PowerPoint, power fade trades, a couple of early opportunities that we talked about. And it was this area here that there was a couple of power fades that looked like they had a good chance of working, as we had a decent pullback back around here. So that's a wrap up for the day, and speak to you again soon.